What the heck are you doing, Game Freak? In the span of 10 months, you have alienated your dedicated fan base to the point where your most loyal fans now hate you. You have Thanos'd your collection of monsters, remained silent on most new and returning Pokémon, and refused to show the starter evolutions before release. This has to be one of the strangest marketing strategies I have ever seen. And it could go down being your best marketing to date. Don't click away yet. Let me explain. Since Nintendo and Game Freak first revealed the Galar region back in February, Pokemon fans have been on the wildest roller coaster ride in franchise history. They were none the wiser to the highs and lows this crazy ride would reach. Leading into E3, the general hype for Sword and Shield was incredibly high, with most fans praising the region, Pokemon characters, and the wild area. The coaster reached record speed levels of hype to rival the greatest of Pokemon games. But then during E3, the hype coaster rammed into a brick wall, at least for a seemingly large portion of the fanbase. No national Dex, otherwise known as Dexit. From that point on, the coaster has been stop and go. Each news drop is a twist or turn, for good and bad. But as we near the end, I can safely say I'm incredibly excited for Sword and Shield, maybe even more so than Sun and Moon.
Blasphemy!
Heathen! You're not a real fan! Call me whatever you like, I can't deny my excitement for this crazy roller coaster. Whether it goes down in a blaze of glory or becomes one of the greatest Pokemon games ever. However, whether you're eagerly waiting for Sword and Shield or boycotting the release, you can't deny that Sword and Shield marketing has been one for the history books. An example of creative video game marketing or a failure for other companies to learn from. I'm not going to go into marketing practices, I don't have the education for that. However, I do want to cover some of the more controversial marketing points that have accompanied Sword and Shield. So let's get right to it. First off, let's talk about the flow of the news. It started out normal. You reveal the Galar region, the avatars, the starters, nothing crazy, just a typical reveal cycle for Pokemon. I would even argue it wasn't that tremendous. Some good stuff, but not a lot of new information. It just seemed like a standard Pokemon game. Although it was refreshing after Let's Go, I'm not gonna lie. Some Pokemon fans were a little relieved to see that yes, we're going back to regular Pokemon and not what Let's Go was. You know what I mean? But then we got the Wild Area trailer. Oh, the hype was unreal! Everyone was freaking out how you can have a free roaming camera, find Pokemon walking in the grass. Just this open area was amazing. Everyone was loving it. The hype was unreal. And then E3 happened. Oh, E3. You know, E3 was a lot of fun for me. I was actually at the event. I paid money to go. And I got to play Sword and Shield, and it was fun. Little did I know the controversy that was brewing behind me. No idea that Masato was up there in his booth saying, yeah, Pokemons, we're cutting them. We're Thanosing them. Say goodbye to your favorite fish Pokemon, they're gone. Your favorite starter? Well, hopefully it's Charizard. Okay, wait, spoilers. I had no idea that was happening, but that took my E3 enjoyment down a notch, I have to say. Not because of the announcement itself, but more of the reaction of the people and the announcement. But I'll go into that a little later. First, I just want to talk about the flow of the news. After that E3 presentation, whether it was a deliberate change in the pace or a reaction from the backlash they received for Dexit, the pace of news reveal went to a crawl. It was almost as if they were afraid to reveal anything for fear that the fans would attack or the fans would react badly. That really hasn't happened too much, aside from the nitpicking, like the graphics, the tree that people really love to laugh at. I don't get it, guys. It's a Pokemon game. Are you okay, whatever. Enough. I know we all have different opinions on this. Focus on the news part is what I want to do. If you look at Sun and Moon, leading up to release, we got an info dump maybe every 2 weeks or so. Or every other week, maybe that's a better way to say it. You know, the starters, their evolutions, Pokemon, the story, some features. I would argue that was too much. By the time Sun and Moon came out, we basically knew everything. There wasn't much to know. Yeah, there was a couple Pokemon that they hid the evolutions of, which, for better or for worse, you guys remember Crabrawler? Yeah, that evolution didn't turn out too great, in my opinion. That was a little downer. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what Crab Brawler evolves into. Oh my gosh. That's a disappointment right there. But for the most part, everything else was revealed. There wasn't too many surprises aside from maybe the final story moments. I guess they did a good job at not revealing that. Thanks, guys. What if Game Freak heard these complaints? What if they knew people didn't like that most things were spoiled? In that sense, they took feedback from the fans and put it into Sword and Shield. Maybe. I can't speak for Game Freak here. I don't know what goes on in their inner machinations, in their mind, but I can say this, they are listening. You know, whether they want to follow what we say or not, they are listening. I think they could have taken the feedback from the marketing of Sun and Moon and applied it to Sword and Shield. Now, perhaps the Dexit reaction had a little bit of say in their marketing going forward, the flow of news going forward, but I could definitely see them trying to improve from Sun and Moon. But maybe they went a little too far, a little too cautious. It's nice not knowing everything in Sword and Shield. I have to admit, going into a game blind like this is nostalgic. I remember playing the first few gens, without knowing any of the Pokemon that I would see, without the story points, what the land I was traveling in. I mean, you knew, well, I guess you didn't really know it was Japan when you were younger, but later on, they don't hide the fact that, oh, this area is inspired by this, and this area is inspired by that. When I was younger, I didn't really understand all that, so this just seemed like a new world that I didn't know anything about. Not knowing what Pokemon I could come up against or what trainers I'm going to fight is how I played the games when I was younger. Played Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and to an extent Gen 4. Actually, Gen 5 as well, I wasn't following Pokemon marketing as strong, so I didn't know all the Pokemon that there was. That being such a big gen of new Pokemon that we hadn't seen before, it was pretty exciting to go anywhere and suddenly you're like, whoa, that's a new Pokemon I haven't seen. That's ugly, I don't want or, oh, that's awesome, I really like that. We haven't had that since Gen 5, I'd argue. After that, they pretty much reveal every single Pokemon starting with X and Y. Not every single Pokemon, but a lot of them. I wonder if Game Freak saw that and said, maybe we're putting off people. And I think that has to do with the culture of social media. You have to put out information, and that's how you do with marketing. When social media wasn't as big, you didn't have to constantly put out new tidbit or new hype trailer to get people excited. You can just simply do a print ad or a TV commercial that was creative but didn't reveal too much about the game. You would still get super hyped about it. But we live in a different age, an age of constant information flow. What have you done for me lately? That kind of attitude. And if you're not showing the consumer what they can get from your game every month or so, then that's just going to fall to the wayside for the most part. But I think they went too far with X and Y and Sun and Moon. So here comes Sword and Shield with this less is more approach. It really ties back to how we played Pokemon when we were younger. I mean, it's not one-to-one, but at least in terms of going into the game blind, it's pretty similar. However, I think they went too far. They left too much out. I haven't seen all the leaks. I have seen the starter evolutions, however, because I need to know. I need to know if the monkey is gonna be cool looking, or if the Sobble is going to be or if the Score Bunny is going to be my main. Like, I needed to know that. I'm not gonna say too much about the leaks, other than there are some starters, final evolutions that I don't like, and if I had chosen that starter, I would have been disappointed. Okay? So that's what I'll say. So, I'm not gonna show anything. If I had chosen the one I didn't like, it would have been a disappointing evolution. I probably would have stopped playing the game. No, I'm kidding. I would have finished it. But I would have been really mad, especially if I saw the other starter evolution, be like, oh, that one's really cool. Gosh dang it. Yes, I'm shallow, and I will always be shallow when it comes to my starter. The starter can be cute for all I care, but if the final evolution is crappy, I'm not gonna pick it. It's just how it goes. Anyway, it really boggles my mind why they thought, oh, we should not release this final evolution for the starters. It would only be bad. That thinking doesn't make much sense to me, because you gotta keep the hype going. There's gotta be some way, and just showing Gigantamax, I can't say that word, Gigantamax versions of Pikachu and Eevee and Meowth and Butterfree and Charizard, yeah, it does some stuff, it does some hype, but then where's the hype for the new Pokemon? Where's the hype for the elements that are completely new and not just blown up reskins of these Pokemon, In that sense, I think the marketing has been off point. The flow of news has been great to keep you blind, but bad to keep you all the way excited. It doesn't have enough hype. Just odd for a Pokemon game to be just like, where are we going with this? I don't know. Have fun. But like I said, I am excited. So even with the lack of news, so maybe they got me. Maybe they got me. They don't even have to show anything and I still freaking buy the game. Gosh, I'm such a fanboy. Another thing I want to know is more about the story. Where is the story going? Other than the fact that you're going to be the best. Like that's all. That's how every game is. I would like to know a little bit more about the story elements without them spoiling everything like they did in X and Y and Sun and Moon. It's just, please, can't there be a middle ground? If I had to choose one way, I think I do prefer the blind, not gonna lie. Just because there's more for your imagination to think about if you go into a game not knowing everything about it. And that in itself can create hype and be exciting. However, you do run the risk of overhype, getting disappointed when the thing you thought would happen doesn't. So again, in terms of marketing, I think Game Freak realized that revealing mostly everything leading up to release takes away from the excitement and discovery of the game. Now, how they revealed the Pokemon they did is a whole nother can of Caterpie, if you will. With Sun and Moon and X and Y, Game Freak used short videos to reveal new Pokemon and features, as I mentioned, every other week. Sword and Shield has taken a more hands-on approach, experimenting with different kinds of marketing. A glitchy website, nature live stream, heavy Facebook and Twitter emphasis, and even E3 is relatively new to Pokemon, with Let's Go being their first big presence. Then again, Sun and Moon had a treehouse segment, so maybe it's not so new. But anyway, they were trying new marketing techniques. They did their first couple standard little vlogs showcasing new features in Pokemon, like with their anniversary video and when they revealed the new wild area. And then silence for about a month. And then we got some more revealed Pokemon, like Alcremie, and then Gigantamaxing, and some of the new characters that are in it. And that was good, and it felt like, okay, we're going forward, it's gonna start off, kind of slow, but then it's gonna pick up, and it never picked up. It never went to the every other month basis, or not every other month, every other week basis. It stayed about once a month. It wasn't this flooding of info that we all expected. So then into September, we got Cramorant and Poltergeist and the camping feature that was finally revealed. So we got that, and we also got the glitchy Sir Farfetch'd, and that's basically the end. Typical vlogs of revealing new Pokemon ended. They just stopped. So then they went to this interesting reveal for the Galar region variants. They started off with Sir Fetch glitch. Interesting marketing. I think they used it for the wrong Pokemon. Sir Fetch'd has nothing to do with glitches, right? I mean, that's what it seems like when they revealed him. But looking at the website, you would think, oh, this Pokemon has something to do with technology or something like that. But no, it's just a Farfetch'd with Smolder. It just has Smolder, you know what I mean? It's those eyes. You can lose yourself in those eyes with his long leek and shield. Oh, slay those baddies. It has nothing to do with glitches. I like the idea, I like the concept, but it was used for the wrong Pokemon. Maybe use it for a ghost or some electric technological Pokemon. I appreciate the creativity at the very least. Galarian Ponyta, on the other hand, is by far the most puzzling. I know they were going for a nature documentary, nature live stream, but maybe they were a little too accurate. If you've ever seen a live stream of just nature, nothing really ever happens. You get like a leaf that moves, maybe you hear something in the background, maybe some monkeys are punching each other in the face. Nothing much happens on camera. That said, this is a video game, not an Animal Planet documentary. When people expect to come to a 24-hour live stream, surely you're gonna have something happening during this time rather than just, oh, there's a Pikachu in the background. Again, a concept that it was interesting. I liked the concept. I feel like it was executed poorly. Like maybe what they could have done is have more than one Pokemon to be revealed. Sure, they had Impidimp, and they still haven't revealed Impidimp, but he was clearly there making mischief, if you will. But they still haven't officially recognized him as a Pokemon that exists in the Galar region. Maybe it's just a running gag that not even the people in Galar recognize Impodim as a Pokemon. Like someone will have him on his team and they'll throw him out and be like, oh crap, what the heck is that? Oh, my bad. Here, let me get my real Pokemon out. Impodim? No, don't give me those. No, you don't exist. You're not real. They could have used this time, this 24-hour live stream to be like, oh my gosh, look, it's a new Pokemon. They can be documenting that, and then when you finally reveal Galarian Ponyta, you document it like that. Below the video stream on the website, Sonia had like a text bubble. You know, it says, okay, I'll be back making updates or whatever, and she never updated anything. I expected there, oh, did you hear that? Or I wonder what could be in those bushes. Or I've heard Impodims run wild around here. Nothing. There was nothing. So having some sort of interaction with your audience who's watching this would have helped the stream become much more than it was. That said, Galarian Ponyta is great. I think for this Pokemon, it was a good reveal, meaning it fit the Pokemon style. With Sirfetch'd, it didn't make sense with the glitch. It's like, I don't see the correlation here. But finding a Ponyta, Psychic Ponyta in the wild just seems fitting. It was really neat when you finally saw the two Ponytas playing and like, oh, it's cute and their fur glows. It's My Little Pony. Oh. In that sense, they delivered. But there could have been more shown. Like, you don't have to waste these poor people's time for 24 hours. What kid has the attention span to watch it for more than 10 minutes, let alone 24 hours? None. So anyway, like the concept, just not executed well. But as they say, any publicity is good publicity, as people were memeing the heck out of the live stream, way more than the glitch ever did. I guess in that sense it was a pretty big success, and I'm sure when Game Freak put out this live stream, they knew people would be talking about it, how there's nothing happening, let's meme it. I'm sure they knew that was going to happen. Whether they wanted it or not is, well, up for debate. But I think they also knew that when you would see like something in the bushes, I think they knew that people would react to that in a certain way. That people would get excited. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see? What could it be? And even myself, I wondered, there were some times when I saw Galarian Ponyta, but I didn't know it was a Ponyta at the time, and I thought it was some sort of ghost Pokemon. Like a new one. It's like, oh my gosh, guys, it looks kind of like a ghost with a mask. And then some of my friends were like, you need to get your eyes checked because that's definitely a ear of a Pokemon and a mane. And sure enough, someone drew up a Ponyta outline and it matched perfectly. It was like, oh yeah, now I see it. Man, I'm blind. But that kind of, you have no idea what it is and your mind plays tricks on you, kind of a reveal was entertaining to say the least, and it got people talking and excited. It just got stretched out to 24 hours, which I find to be ridiculous. After that, they really had nothing. They haven't had anything except for they've had a couple more videos drop recently, just trailers and a more informative video about how certain items will help training become easier. Well, at least like competitive team, like egg moves are easier. So to me, like those are some great changes that I'm glad they made sure people knew about before the game came out. But still, I feel like Game Freak is running on fumes in terms of information that it's releasing, but there's still so much that we don't know. How can they be running on fumes when there's so much that they haven't told us yet? Well, it looks like you have to play the game to find out. Okay, fine, I will. And now for the Don fan in the room, Dexit. For being a big controversy, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I know people get really heated about this, and I have my own personal opinions that I've shared in previous videos, so I'm not going to go too much into this, but I do have a theory. I think potentially, Game Freak saw that there are some people who don't like the big Pokedex. Have you ever ran into someone who used to play Pokemon when they were younger and you said, why not you give it a try now? And they're like, nah, there's like what, 1,000 Pokemon? Well, not quite. There's like 800. Oh no, man, it's way too much. How can there be that many? How can you keep track of them all? I can't. I don't know all their names, so I don't remember all their names. Maybe I'm not that great of a Pokemon fan. But I think Game Freak saw that, especially with Let's Go. Granted, the choice to cut the decks is probably made before Let's Go. But with Let's Go, I think they saw some people reacting in a way that maybe surprised them. It's like, wow, people really like the smaller decks. And man, not even just Let's Go, but Go. They saw how much people love the Kanto Pokemon. You know, subsequently Gen 2 and Gen 3. And yeah, they've been adding all the Pokemon in every gen since then. But perhaps Game Freak noticed that the sheer size of the Pokédex was a barrier for some people to come into the game. Not saying that is the real reason, or I'm not giving them an excuse. I'm just saying, what if that was one of their thoughts going into this? Other than their excuse of, we have so much to do in this game that putting all the Pokemon in would make our lives miserable, with animation and whatnot. Just a thought, and I'm sure people will be like, nope, there's no way. There's a way you can disprove it, feel free. But I do think that is something to consider, that some people find the number of Pokemon to be quite large in previous games. So, I don't know. Not very much based on fact, just interactions with people. Because I know you've heard people say there's way too many Pokemon. I can't keep track of them all. I can't count that high. It used to really bug me. It's like, just play the game. It doesn't matter. You don't have to catch them all. And that's the thing. You don't have to catch. Okay, I'm done. No more. I'm going to go into something I shouldn't. People are going to get mad. And I'm done. I don't want that anywhere near me. You can think what you want. You can boycott what you want. You can buy what you want. Just don't hurt me. And don't get mad at me for buying what I want. Okay? Cool. Of course, we won't know if Game Freak's marketing has been stupid or ingenious until the sale numbers and user reviews come in. I guarantee there will be review bombs regardless if Sword and Shield is good or bad. People think Smash fans are toxic. Yeesh. I am a Pokemon fan too, by the way. Either way, Sword and Shield will go down as one of the most fascinating marketing campaigns in gaming history, whether it's a triumph or a disaster. For those of you who have seen the starter evolution leaks, Team Score Bunny, let's go! Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about Sword and Shield's marketing? Will you be getting the game or will you be boycotting it? Let me know. I'm happy to hear either reaction. Just be cool, man. Like, chill. It's all good. If you're boycotting it, kudos to you. If you're buying it, cool beans. Have a wonderful day. But I'm not done yet. I will be live streaming the game for your pleasure on Friday when the game releases. I've clearly already chosen my starter, Score Bunny. However, I still haven't chosen if I'm going to be a boy or a girl. But hear me out. Usually I go boy. Like, this is never a question in my mind. But this time, Gloria is I love her design, and it's hard to choose. I like the guy's design too, though. Ugh. So anyway, I'll have to make that decision live, so please be there for that. And if you're looking for something to do before the game releases, or want to do something while the game is being released, I have a unrelated video called Wind Waker vs. Twilight Princess. It's a video that means a lot to me, and I hope you give it a shot. So watch that. And now I'm done rambling. So again, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, you good people. I hope there's gibberish in there that will make sense. My gosh.